Okay. Says we're live. If it records me, it records everybody. Yeah, I think that's the way it is. It's just showing my face on the recording now. Let's see. Well, it says it is recording, but maybe present to everyone. You're presenting to everyone. Oh, do I need to? Oh, I think I need to set up the Hangout from this. Yeah, because I can invite you to this. Daniela, what's your email address? Uh-huh. 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 At Gmail. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go. Uh-huh. Okay, so I'm gonna invite you to a new conversation or a new chat. So you can exit this old one and try to go to the new one. Uh-huh.
Yep. Sweet.
Okay, you're on there, and I'm recording. So if I'm gonna, I can just set it up every time because that was easy.
Okay. Then I can just use my phone.
Yeah, I need to make sure
My
that
microphone's like all cracky. I'm gonna invite her again because I don't know if she got it or she had it and then she might have exited it. Okay. What was that noise? Oh, I turned on the music box. Is that better?
Okay, Danielle is here.
Hi.
Okay, that worked. Okay, I'll go to the quiz now.
You want to just do the quiz right now or run over the prep real quick?
Well, we can do the prep too. I'm just trying to open up
Okay.
iLearn. So Daniela, I don't know if you probably don't know this, but Andrew and I are brothers.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I am trying to understand, but I don't know why I can't understand. Give me a minute.
That's okay. If you can't understand, my wife speaks Spanish and she can probably help you.
Yeah, probably.
Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico City.
Mexico City. My friend's in Mexico City. Well, he's from my mission.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in Mexico City. Did they just have an earthquake today?
Yeah, was so bad.
So he was outside his office with his cell phone and he videotaped a building falling down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The whole building fell down and he got it on camera.
That's crazy. Who is it?
Martin Nikolov, the kid from Bulgaria.
Oh.
He owns an English school in Mexico City.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But he's from Bulgaria.
Oh.
So, yeah,
so you are cousins?
Yeah, we're brothers.
No, we're hermanos.
Really?
No, we're hermanos.
We're not primos.
Whoa.
Did you say hermanos?
Hermanos.
Eric.
Okay.
But
I have ice cream.
Oh, so nice. So where are you from?
We're from California.
Somos Californios.
California.
Wait.
We don't
Soy
need
de,
Korean.
soy de California. Wait.
Sí,
Yeah.
soy de California. Sí.
Okay.
I took Spanish 1 here at BYUI, so.
But we both live in Rexburg.
Oh.
Yeah, so we are both taking classes on campus as well.
Oh, I'm going to move to Rexburg in January.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Are
I'm
you,
nervous.
are you in Mexico City right now?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
in
crazy.
Mexico City. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be different. Mexico's nice and warm in January,
Yeah.
but Rexburg isn't.
No?
No, it's really cold.
No.
Yep.
I hate cool weather.
Yeah.
You're not going to like Rexburg then.
No, I know it's so cool.
What is it?
But sí.
Hey, I know C. What did you say? Oh, there's snow. Oh, yeah. She said I. I thought she said one word.
There are snow.
Okay.
I never have seen the snow.
Really?
That'll be fun.
Really?
In California, it never snows either. So we didn't have snow at home.
Oh, I served my mission in Tijuana,
Oh.
so it's the border with California.
Yeah, we've been to Tijuana a lot.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love Tijuana, but never snow, never.
Nope.
Yeah.
Tijuana's always hot.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the prep. Do you guys all have your preparation sheet?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Part 1 had the answers, so let's just do part 2.
Right. Like it had the answer key to part 2 or part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have it. Well, let me see. I loaded it. I downloaded
I gotta go
it.
get a charger for my phone real quick. 1 sec.
Okay. Okay. Biostats.
So your wife served in Mexico? In Mexico?
She served in Argentina, so hold on. Ella habla castellano.
Sit down right here.
There you go.
No.
I served my mission in Russia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I know what the cold's about.
Oh.
Didn't part 2 have the answer key also?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Oh.
And the key answers?
I think part 2 might have had it. Maybe not.
All right, get out of here. Go on. Come on, get out of here.
No. Maybe it didn't. Well, hold on. No, wait. I think it might have. Because question 6, the first, because I checked it. Yeah, I got question 6A wrong when I first did it, and I looked at the key
What is
because it's convenience sample.
Why is it convenient?
Well, if you, I only skimmed through the text. I was lame and I didn't read it thoroughly at first.
But convenient didn't make sense for that one.
I mean, kind of. I thought so.
Why?
Because they're taking a sample of everybody that comes in, but they're not, how do I say this? Like, they're not looking for anything in particular other than people that are coming to them.
Yeah.
So
So that's their group.
I thought it was that way at first, but you can't get a really accurate sample of who uses aspirin.
People who come to the doctor, you can see who uses aspirin by those who come to the doctor. So if you have pain, do you use aspirin before you come to the doctor or not?
And maybe the convenience is that they don't have to go out and do it at all.
I don't know.
Like it's a convenient way to get a sample.
I said it's a specific group.
That's
So
what I thought. I thought
did
that at
stratify.
first. I thought it was was it systematic? No, I think I said
It's
stratified.
stratified or cluster.
I thought it was stratified,
That's what I put too.
but it's wrong. Okay, well, why don't we
No,
go from
I'm
the
not
beginning,
saying
because
it's
we
wrong.
kind of just jumped right into it, and I don't know if Daniela knows where we are. Okay.
Okay.
Let me make this part of my screen so I can see you and the assignment. So I think what we're supposed to do is just go pretty much fill out the preparation again together.
Mm-hmm. Or just talk about what you did and didn't know, or why you picked one thing over another, or something like that.
Okay. So what did you? Let's start from the beginning then, I guess. Daniela, what did you do for the first couple of problems?
For part 2 or part 1?
Let's start with part. Well, Andrew, I have the answer key for part 2. So why don't we go from the beginning?
Okay.
Okay.
And like we can just go fast. We don't need to go take a long time. So for question 1, what were the 5 steps of the statistical process?
Design the study, collect the data,
Mm-hmm.
describe the data, make inference, and take action, right?
That's
Yeah.
it.
I think that's what I got too.
And Daniel can do many things. Is that what the thing they said was?
Yeah, that's not an acronym, it's just like a way to memorize it. Like you put what's that way to memorize something when you take the first letters of what you're trying to memorize and you put it into like a sentence or like a poem?
Yeah, I don't know the word in English.
What's the word in Mexican?
Siglas?
Mexican and Spanish, dude.
Dude, she speaks. My dad went to Spain and he speaks Spanish. No, he doesn't speak Spanish anymore. He works too long.
What does he say? What's the Spanish or like Spanish from Spain? What's that
Siglas.
called?
Se dice siglas en español. Es like
Siglas?
I-G-L-E-S.
Siglas.
Siglas.
It is Siglas. Okay, so Daniel can do many things.
That's what we're going with.
Okay. So for number 2, I'll go for the simple random sample. I chose C, a computer generated draw from a hat.
Yay.
Because the computer is not biased at all. And then stratified sampling, I chose A. Subjects are in groups according to similarity of some characteristics. So, like, huh? Oh, Siglas is mnemonic device.
Yep.
Okay. But the stratified sampling is like you group people into gender or their age, and then you take a sample from them. But you don't sample everybody. You just sample 1 or 2 from each of those groups. So I don't really think that's a great way of sampling.
You're giving yourself variety, and then randomization within that variety.
Okay,
So
like you're making sure that there is some variety, and then it's random.
Instead of totally random, you're like, okay, well, we need people from all different age groups, so we have to separate them out into ages first, and then randomly pick in that to make sure that happens, rather than just maybe randomly and you only get kids or you only.
Right, that makes sense. Or that, and you ensure
if we're
that
talking too fast, we can slow down.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's cool though with the stratified sampling, you can make sure that at like each age group or each group that you're trying to account for is accurately represented. Because like if you were to do just a random sample, the odds of a child doing your survey is not great unless you make sure that you get the answers from a child. So that makes sense. Then systematic sampling.
Yeah, you just have to have a really big, if you're just going to just do random, your group has to be huge that you're sampling from.
Right. You have to like almost
Like
get
gigantic.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then the systematic sampling was B. I thought this was interesting that you just choose like a number like every 10, and then you randomly choose one, and then you go every 10 from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty random way to sample, but
if you don't have a computer, yeah, it's an easy. Or if you're like filtering through documents or something like that.
Right. Yeah, like I think the example was for auditing.
Mm-hmm.
So then a cluster is D. Subjects are put into groups that hopefully represent the population. I thought this was interesting that like later one of the examples is they choose one hospital out of like 30,
Mm-hmm.
and then they survey everybody in like one area. So it really, I don't know if that's necessarily accurate or it's an accurate representation of the population as a whole.
Uh-huh.
But
I'm just
well,
wondering when it would be beneficial to sample that way, to conduct your test that way.
well, I again think it's convenience, and you would find out like how, and for this instance, the hospital, you find out overall how well the patients are treated.
Yeah.
I have a question. I understand the other ones, but about cluster? ¿Cómo se? Cluster?
Cluster.
Sample?
Cluster.
Cluster sample.
Uh-huh.
Says that is when you divide the population into groups, take a S3S of the groups and sample everyone in the select groups. So you take a sample and you divide and then divide again.
So it's like so if somebody were to take a survey or a sample of the school here at Idaho, and they separated everybody into their classes like freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, and then they said, okay, well, we're gonna ask everybody that's a sophomore. And
okay.
they just randomly chose sophomores, but they're sampling just that one group.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they survey all the sophomores.
It's like a less specific way of so stratified is a bunch of groups and you take some from each. Cluster is you have groups and you only pick one, but you do everyone in the group.
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Andrew, do you want to we can speed it up and just go through them a little bit quicker, just give our answers unless we have questions.
Yeah.
Want to do 3?
So 3 experiments, just testing hypothesis, like using conditions that you make. An observational study is you just watch what happens. So it's not a controlled environment. You're just sitting and recording data. Treatment is like the variable that changes the result. So if you wanted like the vaccine, that's the treatment in the examples that were given. A response variable is something I was a little confused on. They said the focus of the question or experiment. So I think the response variable in the vaccine one was, does this vaccine work? Like if you give a vaccine, is it going to produce X?
Right. But so let's think of another response variable, because that makes sense. Like if you give somebody a medicine, does it work? That's the response. But what's a response variable for like an opinion question. So if you're asking somebody like, do you think that the BYUI dress code is good or bad, or is good, or should be done away with? The response variables would be yes, it's good, or no, it's bad. You can't. They don't really like. They can choose what they respond, but those are really the two options you're giving them.
I think for a simple thing like that, yeah, but you could look at, like, if they're just testing to see the effects of something, there can be lots of room for tweaking the design.
For sure, and so that's what's kind of hard about doing an experiment is you have to, before you do the experiment, you have to think about all of the different types of response variables, because if you don't come up with them in the beginning, then you're not going to accurately record them throughout the whole experiment.
And then the last one was the subjects, and those are just the participants, those who are being observed or those who are getting the treatment.
Right. Okay, and then Daniela, you want to do 4?
Define the null and alternative. How do you pronounce hypothesis?
Yeah, hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
Perfect.
Okay. I don't know if I write that one. Give me a minute. I don't know where I wrote. Okay, I think I wrote like the video said, is the foundational assumption about the population. So I don't know if in the video explained that is like the null hypothesis is the assumption about the population, and the alternative hypothesis is the statement when you finish everything is the statement when what thing about your hypothesis is true, right? Makes sense?
Right. I think so. So can I say back to you what I think you're saying? So I think that a null hypothesis is just what, before you do an experiment, what kind of everybody thinks is going to happen.
It's in the beginning. In that, another one is what is true about that statement, right?
So I was curious because I didn't have a good answer for alternative hypothesis. So I looked it up in Google, and I think we can probably look it up in the book, but Google type's really easy. So it says the alternative hypothesis is the hypothesis used in testing that is contrary to the null hypothesis. So basically, before you make a test, you have to come up with what people think regularly. Like, okay, if we're gonna put an ice cube in a pot and turn the heat on, what's gonna happen is that the ice cube's gonna melt. That's the null hypothesis, because we kind of think that's gonna happen. But alternative is like, well, it might not melt.
The null is like what would happen if your treatment doesn't do anything. So they use the one for the vaccine. If we give the vaccine, it won't reduce the risk of polio.
Okay.
That was the null hypothesis. The alternative was, if we give the vaccine, those who receive it will have a lower risk of getting polio. So the null is, if I do this, nothing happens. And so when you conduct your survey, if nothing happens, you know your treatment didn't work.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, your null hypothesis, when you do an experiment, you want to prove your null hypothesis wrong.
Yes. And that's why your hypothesis is the opposite of that.
Right. Your alternative hypothesis is the one that you want to have happen.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not that your treatment will fail, but it's that it will have no effect.
Yeah.
So it's not that like it's going to go worse.
Null means nothing changes.
Right.
That there was no change, so like there's no significance to what you're
Okay.
doing.
So I'll take 5 to find the p-value. P-value I think is just probability, or like the percent of the likelihood of something happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are the ones that you have or don't have, Andrew.
I have these. I did it all.
Oh.
So for 6, I got A, I did stratified, B, I did systemic, C, I did simple, D, I did cluster, and E, I did convenient.
So I did mine, and then I looked at the answer key and corrected mine. So, but I'll pull the answer key back out and make sure I did it right. We'll go over those. But for the first one, A is 6A is convenience sampling. And Andrew had a discrepancy on that, so I think I'm going to go to the book and let's read what the book said about it.
I could see it being cluster sampling because they test everyone who comes in the clinic.
Right, but they don't have more clinics that they could be. I mean, if they said like, well, like no, because the cluster has to start random. Like you have to choose your group randomly.
We are in question 7, right?
6.
6.
6A.
Okay. American Centers.
There's the online textbook. Okay. So, lesson 2.
Like every week.
And it was so.
Conveniences involve selecting items that are relatively easy to obtain, and it does not use random selection. So that's it.
Yeah.
Because they don't use random, that makes sense.
Because they've done nothing to make it random, and they don't really try to diversify their sampling.
So B is systemic because they do every 1,000th name.
Yes.
The next one is C, right? Simple random sampling. Because
right. And then 6D is stratified sampling. Let me pull the questions up because that's just the key.
Divide population into groups. Yeah.
Yeah. And then E, this is the one that I was talking about before. So the medical university researcher surveys all cardiac patients in each of 30 randomly selected hospitals. Yeah, so there's 30 hospitals, and he randomly selects one, and then he goes, or maybe not one, but a couple, so that he doesn't have to go to all 30, and then he surveys all the cardiac patients there.
So that's cluster?
Yeah. Okay. And then Andrew, you want to do 7?
Yeah, I got it. A, I got cluster. B, I got simple random. C, I got cluster. And D, I got systemic.
So I think your 7C is the cluster stratified mix-up again. Let me see. Wait, 7C?
Yeah.
And I think that you're actually right.
Yeah.
I wrote it wrong.
For example,
they divide residents by gender and then do a simple random of residents within each gender. So they do both. So that would be systemic.
No, for 7C or 7D?
7C.
7C is stratified. It's stratified.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, it's stratified,
okay.
Not systemic.
Okay. So,
right. What is systematic, is it, right?
No. So C is stratified, the one where they divide the residents up by gender.
But D
is systemic.
Yeah.
Or systematic.
Systematic.
Yeah. Okay, and then 8 is so determine for each scenario whether it is an observational study or experimental design. And the Center of Disease Control obtains current flu data by randomly polling. So they're not changing anything. They're just observing. So it's observational.
I'm lost.
So that was 8A.
Mm-hmm.
And then B is experimental, because they give medicine and a placebo, but those are just variables that they're artificial variables. Oh, then this is in here. Hold on, maybe it's in the online, maybe it's in the prep. Because I opened up my homework, but the answer key has an answer for a question that's not there, I think. Because or maybe it does ask it earlier. So, oh, and then it says if an experimental design determine the response and treatment and subjects. So the response variables of B were how many hours of sleep they got when they took the medicine.
Uh-huh.
And then the treatment was the placebo or the medicine. And then the subjects in this are, it's pretty specific. It doesn't just say like patients. It says 1,000 patients in 2 groups.
Mm-hmm.
Or it says 1,000 insomnia patients, so it's even more specific. Okay, and then 9.
9.
What did you get for 9, Daniela?
9A, I think is observational study, right?
Let me think. So let me read through it again.
I said experimental because they use cream. They use something to see if it happens, if it's going to cause something different. And they had a placebo group.
Right.
So a group that didn't get the treatment.
The group cruise control. Yeah.
Right. So I think if you want to determine whether something is experimental, you just have to see if the person that's observing does anything to who they're observing. So like yes, they're observing whether the cream works, but they have to give them something or change something.
Okay.
And so the doing something or the changing is that it makes it experimental.
Okay, yeah.
So then who would be the subjects in that one?
I think, okay, give me a minute. I think it's the people who has like the patients with skin irritations.
Right. The people who get the cream.
And what is the response variable in the experiment? The amount, like the skin irritation that the people have. I don't know how to say that.
No, that's exactly right. So the answer key says the degree of skin irritation observed in the patients. So it's just how itchy their skin is.
How what?
Like itchy?
Oh yeah, itchy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So like if it's a little bit itchy or a lot of it itchy, that's the degree of skin irritation. And then what was the treatment?
The cream?
Right. And so when you when they ask us to like say what the treatment is, they want us to be specific. And so it says like 0.5% cream.
Yeah, and 1%
right.
cream and placebo, right?
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Well, let me see. I'm going to open the quiz right now and see how that works.
So we need to make the quiz together. See?
So the way we can do it is I can open the quiz and we can talk about the answers. and then I can submit it, and we can see what answers we get wrong or right.
Oh, okay.
And then you can write down the answers, or you can open the quiz also.
Okay, I'm going to open the quiz also.
Okay.
Okay, I have it.
Okay, Andrew, you back?
Sorry, guys. My dog just pooped in the house, so I had to take care of that real quick.
It's a first.
Yep.
Okay, so we just opened the quiz, Andrew.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the first two questions are whether you participated or not.
Well, we get 2 attempts, so I think everyone can just open it once.
Oh, yeah, we can all open it right now. We get 2 attempts?
That's what it says.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Well, let's read through these one at a time. So question 3 says, researchers would like to determine if reviewing material consistently within an hour after class helps students perform better on exams than if students wait to review material the day before the exam. To answer this question, researchers are trying to determine if an observational study or an experiment would be more appropriate. They're discussing who the population would be and how they will determine which sampling method will best represent the population. Which of the 5 steps of the statistical process are the researchers currently applying?
Well, I think they're trying to design a study.
They're trying to design a study, yes.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out how to test it.
For sure, because none of the other ones, none of the other ones make sense because they're not collecting data yet. They're not trying to interpret data yet. They're not trying to, I guess that's make inferences. And then action, they're not doing anything after.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Andrew, you want to do the next one?
Yeah. A researcher has collected the results of a survey where the participants were asked how many hours of TV they watched each day. The researcher tallies the frequencies for each category and computes mean numbers of hours watched. She then creates a histogram to help illustrate the overall distribution. Which of the 5 steps of this statistical process did the researcher apply?
I think it's describe the data, right?
I was going to say collecting data.
Okay, I'm gonna read again.
Yeah, I need to as well.
Because I think she's collected the data.
They create a histogram, so I think she then creates a histogram to help illustrate the overall distribution. So she's describing the data, right?
Yeah,
or not?
I think that's it. I don't think she's made inferences yet, but she's presenting the data.
Okay, so then if they left out that part at the end, it would just be collecting data. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, do you want to read this one, Daniela?
The next one?
Number 5, yeah.
Mumbai, India is a quickly growing city of importance in its own country, as well as the global economy. A marketing research firm has been asked by a prominent fast food restaurant to help determine if the citizens of Mumbai would support this fast food business from a list of all registered taxpayers. 30,000 names are randomly selected. Each individual on the list is mailed a brief questionnaire. How do you pronounce that word?
Questionnaire.
The researcher received 1,049 responses. The population is Um, Barriers. The age. I think it's 3,000.
That's what I thought it would be.
Each individual.
Well, the population isn't those who are tested. The population is what group are you pulling from?
I think entonces is 1,049.
So those are the people who received. So they sent in responses. Those are the ones that participated of the 3,000 names that they selected.
Right.
But I think your population is the citizens of Mumbai.
So your population, I just Googled it. So the term population in statistics includes all members of a defined group that we are studying or collecting information on for data-driven decisions. You're right.
Okay,
So
yeah, you're right.
it's all the
It's
citizens of Mumbai.
Mumbai. Uh-huh.
So your sample would be 3,000,
Yeah.
but your population is you're trying to figure out if citizens of Mumbai would buy your fast food. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then, the next question is the same question, but the thing at the end is the sample is, I guess the sample is those who are participating, not necessarily those who you mailed it to.
It's the total collection of individuals. So it's the first one, right? 2,049.
Yeah, 1,049.
1,000. See.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So number 7. Studies have shown that retention of classroom material can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour after class. This forgetting curve continues so that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered. How can a student conquer this forgetting curve? The researchers in this study claim that constant review is important. Suppose your teacher wanted to test this and invited you to participate in a study where you were asked to review specific material 15 minutes after class for 10 minutes, an hour after class for 10 minutes, and then again 2 days after class for 10 minutes. Your teacher then gives you a short 10-question quiz where your score out of 10 is recorded. What type of data is your teacher collecting? Quantitative.
It's quantitative.
Oh yeah.
Because it's about numbers. It's how many questions out of 10 you get right on the quiz.
And if you change the number, it makes a difference in the
result.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, studies have shown that retention in classroom materials can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour of class. This forgetting curve continues as that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered. How can a student conquer this forgetting curve? The researchers in this study claim that constant review is important. Suppose your teacher wanted to test this and invited you to participate, asked to review specific material 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after class for 10 minutes, hour after class for 10 minutes, and then again 2 days after class for 10 minutes. After the 6th day, your teacher asks you if you feel confident that you have retained at least 50% of the material. He then records your response as yes, no, not sure. What type of data is he collecting? Categorical.
Categorical. Yeah, categorical.
Okay, let's skip down to after the explanation of the experiment. Your teacher also selects a group to give no review to the material over the 6 days. This group is called a control group.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they aren't having any sort of experiment done on them. They're not getting any treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. And then which of the following would be considered an experimental design? A telephone poll asking people about whether or not they vaccinate their children.
B.
No, because there's not really any treatment or, I mean, there's response variables, but it's just observation. Administering the tuberculosis vaccination to one group and giving a placebo group to another. I think that would probably be the experiment,
Mm-hmm.
because the tuberculosis vaccine is the treatment and so is the placebo.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Then a census is just asking, or it's like seeing how old people are in their house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, 11. Daniela, you want to do that one?
Yeah. I go 11, right?
Yeah.
In a study to determine the average wage of working people in Mumbai, which of the following would be the best sample? The average wage. All of the workers in one working district Mumbai, many randoms. Average. Guess wage. A ver, give me a minute.
Uh-huh.
Salario. Okay. Of working people in Mumbai. I think it's average wage for working people in Mumbai. Which of the following would be the best sample? I think the best would be the second one.
So I thought about that too, but like, what if all the people in one, like, say you go to like the fish market, and there's no kids working in the fish market, just because they don't. Then you wouldn't really know like the occupations where kids can work.
Mm-hmm.
Or you go to like the industrial area and you just have people who work like minimum wage jobs. Or you go to a place where there's just lots of food and only test those people.
Right.
Or a place
So-
with just business.
So you probably would need to get a sample of all the different types of jobs
Mm-hmm.
and see how old they are in lots of different areas. So
So
I think the third one.
the third one, many randomly selected workers in each of several. Yeah.
So it just makes it so you get a wide variety of your sample. Because if you did it all in the one district, you would get an accurate sample of the working age for people on that street.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to write it. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to become the next Jonas Salk and produce a vaccine that will help cure children of respiratory of RSV. You test the vaccine and compare it to a placebo and randomly choose one group of children to take the vaccine and one group to take the placebo. What or who are the experimental units or subjects? Well, it's
You want to become the next Jonas Salk and produce a vaccine.
probably just the children.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the same thing, what are the treatments of that experiment? The vaccine and the
The
placebo.
treatments of the vaccine and
The
placebo.
vaccine placebo. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This one is longer. 1992, the U.S. government supported a study that was run for 15 years where 4,608 low-income families were given a chance to move to less impoverished areas. They distributed vouchers and provided various support systems. The researchers wanted to determine if getting people out of poor neighborhoods would reduce the poverty level of the U.S. citizens. The low-income families were randomly assigned to one of the following three groups. 1, the MTO Low Poverty Voucher Group, which received Section 8 certificates or vouchers usable only in low poverty areas, areas with less than 10% of the population below the poverty line, along with counseling and assistance in finding a private unit to lease. To the traditional voucher group. So the question is, this study was a what? I think it was an experiment.
Yeah, they manipulated it. They did something.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't just watch,
observe
they
them.
tested.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Daniel can discern more truth.
Yeah.
That's out of order.
What?
Yeah.
Question 15, right?
Yeah. What's the order for you?
It's step
So
1,
for,
step 4,
okay.
step 2, step 5, step 3.
The first one is design the study. Oh no, is that the 3?
So
Number
what does your first one say? Step 1, Daniel?
So the first thing is design the study, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is describe the data. No.
So
Okay.
Daniel,
Is collect the data.
because Daniel can, because it's a sea glass.
Yeah, collect data, describe the data, take action, right? And make inferences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So mine was the list is step 1, step 4, step 2, step 5, step 3.
Whoa. Okay, so step 3 was to describe the data. Step 4 is to make inferences.
So 5.
Describe the data is the 3, right?
Describe the data is the third one, yeah.
Right.
But the numbers don't line up right.
Yeah, our numbers are all mixed around.
Did you guys get 3, 5, 1, 2, 4 as the order?
No, I have 3, 1, 5, 4, 2.
Give me a minute. So step 4 is take action. Take action 2.
So where is your step 1? Well,
So
hold on. On the right side, what order is it listed?
It's like I'm going to say it's 2, 4, 1, 2, 5, right?
Well, what
No,
in
2,
what, the
2,
words?
4, 1, 3. The words.
Yeah. So the first one is collect data for me. And then the next one's take action. Then design the study. Describe the data.
And make inferences.
Okay, so that's the order you guys have on the right.
Yeah.
Okay, and so because it's not going to be the same for all of us, so you just got to do. Daniel can discern more truth.
Got it.
Okay, I'm good. I'm going to submit my quiz.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what we got. We got.
Looks like 100. 100%.
Good work, team.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. We only are meeting one time a week, right?
Yeah.
There's 2 lessons.
Oh, maybe we're meeting 2 times a week.
Lesson 3 this week. Lesson 3 has a group meeting.
Okay, so
the group meeting quiz is due September 21st. So we got to meet on Thursday.
Yeah. You guys want to do Thursday? Thursday is an easy day for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time works for you, Daniela?
I arrive 7. 7 for you, 8 for me.
That's perfect.
7 p.m.
Perfect. Well, let's plan on that again.
Awesome.
And then I have to post this.
Yeah, there's like a discussion board. If
Yeah,
you
I hope
if you click on lesson 2, there's L2 group collaboration.
Yeah, I just don't want to delete it on accident.
When you stop, it'll save it to your YouTube channel.
Okay. Then I'll do that right now. So, content, week 2. So I did the quiz, and then it's the group collaboration thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know what group number we are? Group 11?
Yes, group 11.
All right, team.
Okay.
I'll
Have
see
a
you
good
guys
one.
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. See you.
Adios.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.